What's up YouTube, Jeff back again. Today, another very exciting tech video for you guys. This tiny camera has been in my pocket for almost 2 years now. It shot my travel footage, product b-roll for this channel, family moments, and it disappears into the same pocket as my keys and wallet. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and today I'm finally giving it the long-term full review that it deserves. And here's why that matters in terms of the long-term aspect. I'm not guessing how this product holds up over a weekend or even a week or 2 weeks. I've been using the Osmo Pocket 3 as one of my primary creator tools for over 2 years. A lot of the content you guys have seen on this channel has actually been filmed with the Osmo Pocket 3, including a lot of my outdoor content. So today we're gonna run through some extra stress tests. I'm gonna show you guys lots of footage I've shot, the details, and why this could be one of the best little vlogging cameras you can still buy. Even though some newer products have come out, this one might still deliver the best value for your dollar. Let's get right into it. All right, feature number one for the Osmo Pocket 3 that made me fall for it originally is the sensor size, because it's quite impressive. The Pocket 3 has a 1-inch CMOS sensor. If you're not a camera nerd, here's what that actually means in plain English. The sensor is the part that catches the light. Bigger sensor, you get more light, better image, especially when it gets dark in low light scenarios. And 1 inch is genuinely big for a camera this size. So what does that get you in real life? How does it show up in everyday use? Well, you get much better performance in low light. You get low light that doesn't fall apart if you're using this on a professional level or if you want to save your most precious family memories. Check out the footage I've shot in low light over the past few years, from very dark indoor settings, outdoor settings with street lights, all the high contrast stuff that usually turns into a grainy mess on a smaller camera. Look at how clean the footage that I shot really is. The shadows hold up, the highlights aren't blown out in these scenarios, and I'm not gonna have to fight a wall of noise later in my edit. Same story at sunset, the naked eye look, where the sky's still bright but the foreground isn't a black silhouette. That's the high dynamic range doing its job here. Now DJI's own guidance says don't point it straight at the sun, which fair enough, I think that's pretty obvious. We shouldn't do that with any camera, but shooting into a sunset, it handles that beautifully. The results are pristine. And for me, that's really the whole pitch of the Osmo Pocket 3. I'm getting pro-looking footage in a camera that's really the size of a candy bar. Feature 2 is the reason that the Osmo Pocket 3 was able to replace my bulky rig for certain on-location shoots, and that's the gimbal. This is a real physical motorized 3-axis gimbal. Actual tiny motors moving the camera to cancel out your shakes. That's different from the stabilization on most phones, which is done in software. And that's after the fact, and it actually crops into your image. The Pocket 3 is doing it mechanically in real time. And this is a real physical motorized 3-axis gimbal. Actual tiny motors moving the camera to cancel out your shakes, and that's different from the stabilization on most phones, which is done in software after the fact and crops into your image. The Pocket 3 is doing it mechanically in real time. Here's a stress test. I'm literally running here right outside my studio, not walking smoothly, but running. And the footage comes out glassy smooth. That's the mechanical gimbal soaking up every bump. And with software-only stabilization, you usually get either a warpy, jello-looking image or a heavily cropped one. This one just holds up in practice. And then there's the ActiveTrack 6.0 feature, which I absolutely love when I'm on a solo shoot. I tap my face on that little screen and the camera physically follows me. It pans and tilts to help keep me centered while I move around the space. You've got no cameraman, no tripod babysitting, and this is the feature that allows me as a solo creator to be in front of the camera and behind the camera at the same time, and that's not easy. I sit it down, tap, and it tracks me while I talk. And the autofocus keeps up the whole way. It's snappy, sticky, it doesn't hunt around, and between the gimbal, the tracking, and that focus, this is the closest thing I've found to a tiny personal camera crew that fits in your pocket. And that's not fluff or a one-week take, that's from 2+ years of actual use in my business and personal life. All right, feature number 3 is for the folks out there who like to get their hands dirty in the edit, and that is 10-bit D-Log-M. Let me translate that for you. When you record in a normal mode, the camera bakes in the colors and contrast for you, and it looks good, but you're kind of stuck with that. D-Log-M records a flat, washed out looking file that actually holding way more color information. 10-bit gives you over a billion possible colors versus the roughly 16 million you get from standard 8-bit. And that does sound like nerd trivia, but it's actually quite important. Here's why it matters. When you go to color grade, you've got room to push things around without the image breaking apart. You've got no banding in your skies, no harsh, ugly transitions. Here's a shot straight out of the camera in D-Log-M, flat, kind of lifeless, and here's the same clip after I graded it. That right there is the flexibility we're talking about. Now, Is D-Log-M for everyone? No. If you want just great footage straight out of the camera, the normal mode is fantastic and you can ignore this entirely. But if you like to grade your footage, this is a very generous gift on a camera this size that also has a built-in gimbal and fits in your pocket. All that stuff together, plus pro quality color grading, is absolutely amazing. Okay, now let's go through some of the other features that really round this out into a full solo creator kit, because there's quite a few other things here that I want to talk about. On audio, there are 3 built-in mics doing omnidirectional stereo, and it connects wirelessly to the DJI's Mic 2, Mic 3, or the Mic Mini, and of course, to any other mics they release in the future. So I can clip a tiny mic to my collar and get clean, crisp voice, no separate recorder, no syncing audio in post. The screen flips out and rotates, and you can also set it up in the settings so that the instant you flip it, that you're going to instantly start recording, which is really nice for getting those shots that are happening fast. You need to pull it out, rotate it, and go ahead and get quick footage. You can do this one-handed, it's easy, done. There's a 2-inch touchscreen, so you're actually seeing your shot, which seems like an obvious thing that every camera would have until you find that there's a lot of these pocket vlogging cameras that don't. You also get a 2x zoom that gets you to roughly a 40mm view. Really nice for flattering portrait framing. And the whole thing comes right out of your pocket, access locked and protected. That whole ready to go anytime is one of the reasons I use it so much, especially when I'm doing on-location filming and vlogs for events. One more fun one before we wrap up this feature section: 4K slow motion, 120 frames per second. Shooting at 120 frames and playing it back slow turns ordinary moments into these dramatic, cinematic little clips, like water droplets hanging in the air, a dog mid-zoom, or my son's Hot Wheels car coming down a ramp we built right there in our living room. It's the kind of shot that makes a vlog feel more expensive, and it also is a lot more fun. My kids absolutely love slow-mo shots. Quick heads up if you go looking for it, the 4K 120 only records in the dedicated slow motion mode, so if you think you can't find some setting that exists, you're probably not missing it. Just make sure you use that if you want to shoot 4K 120. So after 2 years of use using it here as a creator, also at home with my family, who is this actually for? If you're a solo creator, traveler, or a parent who wants genuinely nice footage without lugging a camera bag, or anyone who's tired of pulling out a big setup and killing the moment, this is it. It's the camera that replaced my bulky rig for probably 80% of what I shoot on location. Is it perfect? Well, of course, no camera is, but I'll be 100% straight with you guys. The Osmo Pocket 3 is one of my favorite tools in my creator toolbox, and I don't say that lightly. I use a lot of cameras, a lot of mics, and this is one that has survived the test of time and is truly one of still the best values that you can go out and purchase if you want a starter camera for YouTube and you're gonna do a lot of vlogging. 2 years in, it's still the camera I reached for first. For me, that's the whole review right there. The gear you actually use beats the gear that just looks good on a shelf. All right, guys, that's my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 long-term review. If you guys are interested in checking it out, I'll have the links, pin comment, description, any discount codes as well that are relevant below. A huge shout out to DJI for sponsoring the video. I really appreciate them. If you guys have any questions about how I use it, any questions about whether it's a good fit for you, drop those in the comments. I'm happy to get back to you guys. What do you guys use for your on-the-go camera gear if you're a creator or if you're just filming your family or friends at home? Curious to know what you guys think as well. Appreciate you guys checking out this video. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.